You know, people always talk about forgiveness like it's this grand, noble act. Someone wronged you, be the bigger person, let it go, bless them, forgive them, light a candle, do a ritual, write a poem in your gratitude journal. And yeah, sure, that is all cute. But according to Asaman philosophy, one of the foundational axioms reminds us something a little more existentially inconvenient. We live in a world all alone. Now hold that thought, because if that is true, then let's be honest. Who exactly are we forgiving? Your ex, your mom, that boss from 2013, Jenny from accounting in H&R Block who stole your idea in the meeting? No, there is no one to forgive. No one but ourselves. And not because other people didn't mess up. Oh, they sure did. They absolutely did. But if we truly want peace, it starts with forgiving ourselves first. Because forgiveness isn't about them, it's about us. It's about facing the parts of us that got caught in the illusions, expectations, and the unmet needs. The illusion that someone else was supposed to show up for us. The expectation that love would be comfortable, simple, and obvious. The fantasy that if we just gave enough, people would love us back the way we need it. So what do we forgive ourselves for? We forgive ourselves for believing the illusion, giving too much, playing safe and doubting, not trusting the process, not setting boundaries, holding on too long, checking out too soon, not asking for what we needed, and plot twists, sometimes not even knowing what we needed. And hey, sometimes the reality is darker. Sometimes misfortunes just happen. You're a kid, you're vulnerable, and instead of getting love and protection, you got abandonment, gaslit, or entangled in some kind of emotional warfare. My own story. I grew up in an unusual family dynamic, unusual being the polite word we use when we mean, wow, that was a dumpster fire with occasional Christmas decorations. My parents, young 20-year-olds, lost fighting their own battles, which growing up left me somewhere in the middle, feeling like an emotional orphan. Loved, yes, they said so, but emotionally, nada, zero. It was like trying to plug your soul into a dead socket. So I did what a lot of kids do. I seeked for attention, validation. I would do pretty much anything just to be noticed and loved. Even imagined someone would come, a protector, a big brother, a stable grown-up, someone who would see me and who would stand up for me and love me in a language I understood. Because let's be real, if you speak English but someone tells you I love you in Chinese, well, that message won't mean much to you after all, now would it? The truth is, no one came, no one spoke my language. Which later I came to realize that to me love felt more like acceptance. It felt like a peaceful light, kind words, and not an expectation to constantly perform and prove my lovability. But that experience had left a scar, a silent one, not the kind you show off, the kind actually you want to bury in your isolation, the kind that whispers, don't speak, don't need, don't feel. And I'm sure many of you may have tested the flavor feeling invisible, especially to the people you grew up to call family. At the end of the day and the beginning of the night, family should be the only place inclusive of the light and the dark, a place where you feel loved for where you are at and not for being on a Broadway casting call. And since to me it never felt like there is a safe place to go, to be accepted with my wins but also with my failures, I learned to disappear emotionally. Smile, be low maintenance, be smart, be useful, because God forbid you take up space with sadness or even ecstatic joy. God forbid I showed weakness. That was met with a great degree of judgment or inadequacy. So growing up with a lack of sense of acceptance, belonging, lack of emotional safety, later on makes you feel either lost or too preoccupied with questions about life, about reality, about truth, and about love. Eventually, I started asking the big questions. What the hell is love? When we grow up feeling emotionally neglected, we also have no real concept of love. And instead, that place is taken by fear and absence. It is taken by guilt and shame. That is when pain reaches deep at soul level. And that is the uncomfortable pain we all try to run away from because it feels almost like death or actual death to our sense of self, our meaning and belonging in this world. And sadly, but growing up this way, we become too comfortable with the void, with believing we are here to meet others' expectations, with the need for validation, for perfection and performance. So we begin confusing it for love in our relationships growing up. But at the time, I also knew that that is not love. It's anything else but love, or more like a void or absence. And love is not based on some performance or evaluation criteria. And even if all I knew is what love wasn't, because it was definitely not manipulation, it was not control, it wasn't rejection and invalidation, and it sure as hell wasn't abandonment, with a side of we love you but can't tolerate your needs. And that question, what is love, became the compass to my quest in seeking for truth and clarity in life, in my quest of finding peace. I began reading, learning, asking questions, and contemplating, sometimes through books, sometimes through breakdowns, but I couldn't get to the truth of love until I went through the doorway of forgiveness and compassion first. And not from my parents, not from my past, but for me. For the child in me who couldn't protect herself. For the teen who buried her rage under silence. For all the times I felt invisible, not because I was, but because there was simply a lack of presence and patience I got to experience. For the adult who sometimes kept choosing emotionally unavailable people because it simply felt, well, familiar. I had to forgive me for all the times I rejected my own emotions and my own needs. For all the times I rejected my own acceptance. For all the times I said, I'm fine, while quietly drowning inside. And let me tell you, it wasn't glamorous. There were many sleepless nights filled with dragon tears and puffy eyes the next morning, questioning my life choices while processing the truth of these realizations. And I simply described the process of awakening, but it felt like sitting on top of an emotional volcano, praying it wouldn't blow up your life, but also low-key hoping it would, just so you could start all over again, just so you could rebuild life from the ground up with more meaning, presence, and inclusivity. And slowly this experience, it shifted when you accept you are human and start to recognize and see the gifts you actually carry behind all the neglect you once experienced, and understand it's just an experience and not who you are in reality. And this realization, it wasn't like, oh look, I'm enlightened now, namaste bitches. It was more like I didn't deny myself today for crying, for being angry, or feel self-pity for not being seen or heard. I let go of the need to stay where not valued instead of trying to perform and pretend to be someone else. I walked away from those who drained my soul and dimmed down my fire. I said no without apologizing for it. And these tiny acts of self-love, over and over and over. And eventually, the guilt starts to loosen, the shame got quieter, the anger burned out, like firewood that had finally served its purpose. Because when we truly forgive ourselves, we stop abandoning ourselves. We begin to show up. We protect the little one inside who never got the older brother, the healthy parent, the safe harbor. And that is the most radical, rebellious, revolutionary act of love. Not chasing it, not earning it, not expecting it, but becoming it. By letting go of your expectations and learning to value your needs first. So you want emotional presence, then learn to be present with your own emotions first. You want your word to be heard, then learn to live by what you preach first. You want love, then never kill the light of the Creator within you. Because this is what we're here for. To experience the family or create it when we are seen, loved, accepted, safe, and valued. And it always begins with you. And deep down at our core, this is what a soul yearns for in this lifetime. So here's the real takeaway. If you're out there waiting to forgive someone else, maybe don't. Instead, forgive the version of you who thought they would save you of not meeting your own expectations. The you who made them accountable for your happiness by holding a long list of expectations. Because the truth is, you saved yourself, and only you can save yourself. And that, my friend, is love. Forgiving yourself for needing to live by the approval of others and start living by what lights you up. And family, there are those that already see the light in you, no longer needing you to prove anything, but there as your support system, cheering you on your path, both through the mistakes but also upheavals. And life is already hard enough for many, so we don't need a family that's hard on us too. And a good tool that can help you to forgive yourself is to reflect on where along the way you neglected your soul. When did you stop believing and trusting life? When did you replace your dreams with the burdens of your parents? Because if you cannot forgive yourself for still trying to prove something or take on their load, you will project those same burdens into your relationships. Because our own unforgiven wounds often get projected in relationships, making the other person feel like a burden, not meeting our own expectations and unmet needs. But it's never too late to ask. It's never too late to begin forgiveness for yourself. Only then you can show compassion to others too. And this is not about self-righteousness or holding on to guilt, but the light you feel when you accept you are simply human. And humans are not perfect. We make mistakes. We fail to meet expectations. And we're here to learn to trust despite the imperfections, despite the mistakes, despite our unmet expectations. Because true faith is not in the facts. Faith is not based on facts and conditions. It is not defined by our past or current circumstances. Faith is about accepting your path as a student in life, first and foremost. Faith isn't religion, believing that there is something greater or better. It's about embracing your main role, your greatest responsibility in this life, which is to learn, to be a learner in life. And this way, faith is not just passive or blind. It becomes active and humble. And to walk with faith means to recognize that you don't have all the answers, that you can't control life, and you cannot just grasp for a guarantee, because you're not meant to. Yet you trust that the lesson you are meant to learn will come, and sometimes through struggle, but sometimes through joy. And all the emotions you experience walking down this path, the sadness from the failure or breakup, or the joy of discovering a new side of yourself, they all lead you back to you, back to forgiving yourself the mistakes, but also never forgetting that you are here to live in joy. Faith is about understanding that the greatest teacher is the path you're walking on, including the setbacks, the confusion, the delays, and even the pain. Because the truth is, the right path is not supposed to be easy. If it's easy and comfortable, well, we will never choose to learn and grow from it. So faith is about trusting that there is meaning even when you don't see it yet or in this moment. Believing that growth is happening even when you feel stuck. And also choosing to continue to move forward with curiosity rather than fear. And this faith and trust in life is the prerequisite we're here to embody if we want to see love, if we want to create a family. It is not in the guarantee, but in trusting even through the uncertainty. So if you want to get started on your own path to faith, forgiveness, and remembering what is love, what being seen feels like, then get the therapeutic guided meditation course I created for soul awakening. I made it affordable for everyone because I believe in your own power to heal yourself when you choose to meet your own expectations, starting with forgiveness. And I don't want to hear excuses that there is not a way. I'm giving you a tool now, which I'm here to share with you because I've been there, and I can tell you that you're not invisible, you're not unworthy, you are deeply loved and unique. Possibly you just never seen it through the right eyes that you needed, the eyes that feel safe and show you that you belong. But you don't have to wait any longer for them to come. You can begin to see, you can awaken to what truly lives beneath the void and emptiness you may be feeling. I know it's a rich world that waits for you to explore it. So get your ticket today and awaken to the hope that lives within you, to the healing current you carry to transcend your own expectations and turn them into purposeful dedication to yourself, to life, and to love. Because love is only lost when we lose faith, and love lives for eternity when there is self-forgiveness and belief.